And today I'll be reading 4 poems from Edward Lear, The Complete Verse and Other Nonsense, starting with the Jumblies. They went to sea in a sieve, they did, in a sieve they went to sea. In spite of all their friends could say, on a winter's morn, on a stormy day, in a sieve they went to sea. And when the sieve turned round and everyone cried, "You'll all be drowned," they called aloud, "Our sieve ain't big, but we don't care a button, we don't care a fig, in a sieve we'll go to sea." Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. They sailed away in a sieve they did, in a sieve they sailed so fast, with only a beautiful pea-green veil tied with a riband by way of a sail to a small tobacco pipe mast. And everyone said who saw them go, "Oh, won't they be soon upset, you know, for the sky is dark and the voyage is long, and happen what may, it's extremely wrong in a sieve to sail so fast." Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. The water it soon came in, it did, the water it soon came in, so to keep them dry, they wrapped their feet in a pinky paper all folded neat, and they fastened it down with a pin. And they passed the night in a crockery jar, and each of them said, "How wise we are! Though the sky be dark and the voyage be long, yet we never can think we were rash or wrong, while round in our sieve we spin." Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. And all night long they sailed away, and when the sun went down, they whistled and warbled a moony song to the echoing sound of a coppery gong in the shade of the mountains brown. "Oh, Timberlow, how happy we are, when we live in a sieve and a crockery jar, and all night long in the moonlight pale, we sail away with a pea-green sail in the shade of the mountains brown." Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. They sailed to the western sea, they did, to a land all covered with trees. And they bought an owl and a useful cart and a round of rice and a cranberry tart and a hive of silvery bees. And they bought a pig and some green jackdaws and a lovely monkey with lollipop paws and 40 bottles of ringbo-ree and no end of Stilton cheese. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. And in 20 years, they all came back, in 20 years or more, and everyone said, "How tall they've grown, for they've been to the lakes, and the Torrible Zone, and the hills of the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. And they drank their health and gave them a feast of dumplings made with beautiful yeast. And everyone said, if we only live, we too will go to sea in a sieve, to the hills of the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò." Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. And moving on now to Calico Pie. Calico Pie, the little birds fly down to the calico tree, and they sang tilly-loo till away they flew, and they never came back to me. They never came back, they never came back, they never came back to me. Calico Jam, the little fish swam over the syllabub sea. He took off his hat to the sole and the sprat and the willoughby wat, but he never came back to me. He never came back, he never came back, he never came back to me. Calico Ban, the little mice ran to be ready in time for tea. Flippity-flop, they drank it all up and danced in the cup, but they never came back to me. They never came back, they never came back, they never came back to me. Calico Drum, the grasshoppers come, the butterfly, beetle and bee. over the ground, around and around, with a hop and a bound, but they never came back. They never came back. They never came back. They never came back to me. The Courtship of the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. On the coast of Coromandel, where the early pumpkins blow, in the middle of the woods lived the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. 2 old chairs and half a candle, 1 old jug without a handle, these were all his worldly goods in the middle of the woods. These were all the worldly goods of the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, of the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. Once among the bong trees walking, where the early pumpkins blow, to a little heap of stones came the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. There he heard a lady talking to some milk-white hens of Dorking. It's the Lady Jingly Jones. On that little heap of stones sits the Lady Jingly Jones, said the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, said the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. Lady Jingly, sitting where the pumpkins blow, will you come and be my wife? Said the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. I am tired of living singly on this coast so wild and shingly. I'm a-weary of my life. If you'll come and be my wife, quite serene would be my life, said the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, said the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. On this coast of Coromandel, shrimps and watercresses grow. Prawns are plentiful and cheap, said the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. You shall have my chairs and candle, and my jug without a handle. Gaze upon the rolling deep, fish is plentiful and cheap. As the sea, my love is deep, said the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, said the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. Lady Jingly answered sadly, and her tears began to flow. Your proposal comes too late, Mr. Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. I would be your wife most gladly, here she twirled her fingers madly, but in England I've a mate. Yes, you've asked me far too late, for in England I've a mate, Mr. Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, Mr. Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. Mr. Jones, his name is Handel Jones Esquire and Co., Dorking fowls delights to send, Mr. Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. Keep, oh, keep your chairs and candle, and your jug without a handle. I can merely be your friend. Should my Jones more Dorkings send, I will give you 3, my friend, Mr. Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, Mr. Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. Though you've such a tiny body, and your head so large doth grow, though your hat may blow away, Mr. Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, though you're such a hoddy-doddy, yet I wish that I could modify the words I needs must say. Will you please to go away? That is all I have to say, Mr. Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, Mr. Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. Down the slippery slopes of Myrtle, where the early pumpkins blow, to the calm and silent sea fled the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. There, beyond the bay of Gurtle, lay a large and lively turtle. You're the cove, he said, for me. On your back, beyond the sea, turtle, you shall carry me, said the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, said the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. Through the silent, roaring ocean did the turtle swiftly go. Holding fast upon his shell rode the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, with a sad, primeval motion towards the sunset isles of Boshen. Still the turtle bore him well, holding fast upon his shell. Lady Jingly Jones, farewell, said the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, said the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. From the coast of Coromandel did that lady never go. On that heap of stones she mourns for the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. On that coast of Coromandel, in his jug without a handle, still she weeps and daily moans. On that little heap of stones, to her Dorking hens she moans for the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, for the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò. And lastly, and bestly, the Dong with a luminous nose. When awful darkness and silence reign over the great Gromboolian plain, through the long, long wintry nights, when the angry breakers roar as they beat on the rocky shore, when storm clouds brood on the towering heights of the hills of the Yonghy-Bonghy-Bò, then, through the vast and gloomy dark, there moves what seems a fiery spark, a lonely spark, with silvery rays piercing the coal-black night, a meteor strange and bright. Hither and thither the vision strays, a single lurid light. Slowly it wanders, pauses, creeps, anon it sparkles, flashes and leaps, and ever as onward it gleaming goes, a light on the bong tree stems it throws, and those who watch at that midnight hour from hall or terrace or lofty tower cry as the wild light passes along, "The dong! The dong! The wandering dong through the forest goes, the dong! The dong! The dong!" with a luminous nose. Long years ago, the dong was happy and gay, till he fell in love with a Jumbly girl who came to those shores one day. For the Jumblies came in a sieve, they did, landing at eve near the Zemery Fid, where the oblong oysters grow. And the rocks are smooth and grey, and all the woods and the valleys rang with the chorus they daily and nightly sang. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. Happily passed those days while the cheerful Jumblies stayed. They danced in circlets all night long to the plaintive pipe of the lively dong, in moonlight, shine or shade. For day and night he was always there by the side of his Jumbly girl so fair, with her sky blue hands and her sea green hair. Till the morning came of that hateful day, when the Jumblies sailed in their sieve away, and the dong was left on the cruel shore, gazing for evermore, ever keeping his weary eyes on that pea-green sail on the far horizon, singing the Jumbly chorus still as he sat all day on the grassy hill. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. But when the sun was low in the west, the dong arose and said, "What little sense I once possessed has quite gone out of my head." And since that day he wanders still by lake and forest, marsh and hill, singing, "Oh, somewhere in valley or plain might I find my Jumbly girl again. Forever I'll seek by lake and shore, till I find my Jumbly girl once more." Playing a pipe with silvery squeaks, since then his Jumbly girl he seeks, and because by night he could not see, he gathered the bark of the twangum tree on the flowery plain that grows, and he wove him a wondrous nose. A nose as strange as a nose could be, of vast proportions and painted red, and tied with cords to the back of his head. In a hollow rounded space it ended, with a luminous lamp within suspended, all fenced about with a bandage stout, to prevent the wind from blowing it out, and with holes all round to send the light in gleaming rays on the dismal light. And now each night, and all night long, over those plains still roams the dong, and above the wail of the chimp and snipe you may hear the squeak of his plaintive pipe, while ever he seeks, but seeks in vain, to meet with his Jumbly girl again. Lonely and wild all night he goes, the dong with a luminous nose, and all who watch in the midnight hour, from hall or terrace or lofty tower, cry as they trace the meteor bright, moving along through the dreary night, "This is the hour when forth he goes, the dong with the luminous nose. Yonder, over the plain he goes, he goes, he goes, the dong with a luminous nose." Good night, children.